Here's a question that's keeping producers and musicians up at night. If AI can nail the perfect hook in 5 seconds, what the hell happens to the soul of music? Every snare quantized to the millisecond, every vocal tuned so perfectly it hurts, every mix sounding like it rolled off an assembly line blessed by the ghost of Quincy Jones himself. When perfect becomes easy, does it mean anything anymore? Because that's where we are right now. AI has democratized precision. You can sound like a pro without ever even touching an instrument. That's incredible and a little bit terrifying. Because in making perfect accessible to everyone, we might have accidentally killed the thing that made human imperfection beautiful in the first place. Today we're diving deep into the future of authenticity. How musicians, producers, and creators can actually stand out when machines make perfect feel like a commodity. And here's the twist, there's already a counterculture wave building. Raw, messy, beautifully broken sound is becoming the new rebellion. So here's what we're covering. Why imperfection might become the hottest genre nobody saw coming. How to use AI as a creative tool without losing what makes you, you. Why showing your process, the mess, the mistakes, and the humanity could be your best marketing strategy in this AI-saturated landscape. By the end, you'll understand why the sound of humanity might become the most expensive plugin of all. Guys, my name's Chris. Let's dive into it. Track 1, When Perfect Got Boring, and nobody knew how to say it. Let's be honest, for the last 2 decades, the entire music world has been chasing one thing: perfection. Quantize those drums to the grid, auto-tune every vocal until it's glass smooth, mix it until it sounds like it could play in an Apple store and nobody would notice. AI just took that obsession and injected it with rocket fuel. Tools like Suno, Udio, and Meta's Music Gen are spitting out fully arranged radio-ready tracks from a text prompt. What used to require a producer, an engineer, a session musician, and a few rounds of revisions now happens in under a minute. That's wild and it's game-changing. But here's where it gets really interesting. The more perfect everything sounds, the less anyone actually feels it. It's the Photoshop effect. When every Instagram face is flawless, nothing stands out. When every song hits the grid perfectly, your ears start glazing over. There's no friction, there's no surprise, no wait, what was that? Moments. So what are the artist implications? The emotional connection we used to get from technical skill is shifting. Now it's about vibe, texture, and feeling. Listeners are getting hungrier for the human fingerprint, the breath before the vocal, the slightly offbeat strum, the crack in the voice you'd normally comp out. What used to register as a mistake is becoming the most interesting part of the song. When everything can sound pristine, pristine stops being special. But that moment of rawness, that little imperfection that makes you lean in, that's now increasingly rare. So what are your takeaways? Perfection is no longer scarce. Humanity is. If AI can deliver flawlessly, your competitive edge is feeling human. Don't polish the life out of your tracks anymore. That rough edge might be what makes it the thing that someone stops scrolling on and actually listens to. Your mistakes might be your signature. The stuff you'd normally fix could be the thing that makes you memorable. Now, I don't profess to know that this is definitely what's going to happen. We see a huge rise in specific types of music on TikTok and elsewhere. But I would guarantee that once everything is clean, the only thing that stands out is the one thing that isn't. So with that in mind, I'd love for you guys to engage with this question. Do you think listeners can actually feel when a song was made by a person versus AI, right now at least? Or is really the distinction all in our heads? And does it even matter? I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Track 2, Every revolution breeds its rebellion. Here's a pattern that keeps repeating itself in music history. Every time technology makes things that are too polished, too controlled, or too perfect, something raw and chaotic explodes in response. When disco dominated the 70s with its slick production, punk kicked the door down. 3 chords, no apologies, and a middle finger to perfection. When the 90s gave us ultra-polished pop and boy bands and the Spice Girls, who I loved, grunge showed up in flannel with blown-out amps and zero interest in looking pretty. The pendulum always swings back. Always. And right now we're deep in the AI era of algorithmic perfection. Every song is optimized, every mix is balanced, every sound is pristine, which means something messy and human is brewing underneath. Maybe it's the tape hiss making a comeback. Maybe it's intentionally lo-fi cassette loops. Maybe it's live takes where the kick drum bleeds into the vocal mic and you leave it that way on purpose. It's the sound of chaos reclaiming space from control. As one specific example, look at Justin Bieber's new hit song Daisies. The mix is fully raw. It sounds like it was done in a garage intentionally, and the progression and everything about it sounds like a jam band just going off in the moment. So what are the implications to you as an artist? Authenticity might literally become a genre tag, like lo-fi or bedroom pop. Imagine seeing handmade music, human mix, analog soul. Musicians who lean into imperfections early and who embrace the cracks, the noise, the beautiful brokenness could end up defining the next standard, just like punk rock did, just like hip hop did, just like bedroom pop did. So, you could be early to that wave right now, and with that in mind, what are the takeaways? Counterculture follows perfection. When everyone zigs towards polish, zagging towards rawness becomes the move. Your flaws might become your brand assets. The thing you've been embarrassed about could be what makes you stand out. Document your process openly. Show the messy middle. The transparency is part of the art now. With all that in mind, I'd love for you guys to take a look at this question. If realness becomes an actual genre, what do you think it'll sound like? And more importantly, would you listen to music specifically because it's messy and human? Please leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Track 3, using AI without losing yourself, the hybrid approach. So let's get practical for a minute, because the answer isn't always to reject AI and become some purist holdout. That's not very realistic, and honestly, it's probably not smart right now. AI isn't the villain here, it's a new instrument. It's a collaborator, not a competitor. The same way samplers didn't kill hip-hop, they created it. The same way synthesizers didn't destroy rock, they expanded it. AI is changing the palette and it's giving you new colors. The danger only shows up when you stop being intentional about it, when you let the algorithm define your sound instead of using it to amplify what's already inside of you. So here's the move. Hybridization. Use AI for what it's good at, brainstorming ideas, generating textures, speeding up the boring technical stuff, but then inject your human weirdness back into the mix. Take that AI-generated vocal and drag it through an old tape delay until it warps. Grab that perfect chord progression and distort it until it's gasping for air. Let the machine give you the clay, then you shape it into something that only you could make. So what are your implications? You're not competing with AI, you are curating it if you choose to use it. You're the editor and the tastemaker, the one who decides what stays and what gets bent into something stranger. That's the new creative act. Not making everything from scratch or letting AI do it all, but playing in that middle space where machine precision meets the human instinct. Your job is to decide what breathes, what glitches, what lives. Now remember, these are two very separate ideas. And I think it's worthy to look at both the AI side and consider what the rawness means, because I think you can use both. You can use AI to get you into a mastering or mixed phase that's a lot faster if you're just a musician. And you can be using it on top of that raw live sound we talked about. And this is where the artist comes in. It's your turn to figure that out. So what are your takeaways? Use AI as a tool, not a taste maker. Let it generate some options for you, but you make the final call if you do use it. Combine machine precision with your human imperfection. That collision is where the magic is going to happen. And don't fear the technology. Bend it to your aesthetic where it's necessary. Make AI sound like you, not the other way around. So now as a question, what's the one way you've used AI in your music that still feels authentically you? Or if you haven't yet, what's holding you back? It could be a plugin, it could be an instrument or a fully generated part of a track. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to discuss it with you guys. Track 4, transparency is the new marketing. Here's something wild that's happening right now. Your creative process might be more marketable than your finished product. In a world drowning in AI-generated content, fans are fascinated by how something gets made, not just what it sounds like. Think about why people watch studio diaries and behind-the-scenes footage or those chaotic making-of TikToks. It's not just curiosity, it's proof of humanity. Evidence that a real person struggled, experimented, failed, and kept going. It's the story. That's your authenticity layer. Show the real takes and the real bloopers. Show the plugins crashing, the weird experiment that didn't work but you might have learned something from. Stop hiding the mess, and the mess is where the connection lives. So what is this implication as an artist? Authenticity isn't a marketing strategy, it's insurance. When everyone's music can sound professional thanks to AI, the things that make fans actually care is knowing that there's a human in there somewhere. Fans don't really want perfection, they want participation in your story. They want to feel like they're part of the journey. So your takeaways. Show your process. It builds trust. People can connect with the journey, not just the result. And that's true now in music and in life. Market the making, not just the music. Your creative struggles are content. Use them. Your unfiltered personality is your differentiator. In an AI world, being genuinely, messily yourself is a huge competitive advantage, at least in my opinion. Engagement question for you guys. Would you rather hear a perfectly polished song or a slightly rough one that feels alive and human? What makes you care more? And this is all going to parse out by what genres you love or what era you came up in. So please let me know in the comments how you feel about that. And now summing it all up for you guys. AI is changing music faster than any shift since the electric guitar was plugged in, but every revolution creates a renaissance. Every disruption opens a new door. We're entering an era where realness is becoming rare, and when something gets rare, it gets valuable. So don't chase perfection. Everyone has access to that now. Chase presence. Chase a feeling and that undefinable thing that makes someone stop and say, "What was that?" Use the tools, learn the trends, and experiment with everything, but never hide your fingerprints. Accentuate them. Because in the future of music, the sound of humanity might be the most expensive plug-in of all. So some final action steps for you guys to take away as artists. 1. Experiment with AI, but remix it through your lens. Use it to expand what you're already doing, not to create the creativity. 2. Keep your human errors. They might be your signature. That flaw might be your style. Think about Bob Dylan. Is he a good singer? It's a style. I love him. Number 3. Start documenting your process openly. That's where the connection happens. And also, if you look at our copyright thing, documentation helps to protect your non-AI music, your AI-helped music, and beyond. So check that out and document. Number 4, watch for emerging authenticity genres. The artists who lean into rawness now may define what will come next. The future isn't humans versus machines, it's humans using machines to sound more human. That's the game, and you're already in it. Thanks for listening. Now go make something that you want to hear and that other people might want to hear too. My name's Chris. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next week.